The journey has begun. Welcome to Trade TV, the maiden edition of our show, Lead. Learn, educate, apply, and develop. My name is Heavy D. I'm your host for the show, Lead. And on this show, the very maiden edition, join me as we speak to a very important personality. Come with me. We learn to educate, we apply, and we develop. LEAD. Welcome to Lead, our maiden edition here on Trade TV. My name is Clenham, also known as Heavy D. Today happens to be an honorable day because I have with me a personality who doesn't need any introduction. He's a physician by profession, a military officer, a diplomat, the former head of the Ghana Football Association, a chairman of Accra Hearts of Oak, and also the director of Accra Hearts of Oak. He is a member of the Council of Patrons of Accra Hearts of Oak. Viewers, my guest today is the great Captain Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe. Welcome, sir, to Lead.
Yeah, this is a pleasure.
Thanks for your time and honoring this great platform. We acknowledge you, and we definitely are honored to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, the first thing I want to touch on is let me go on a lighter note first. Your love for football.
Oh, my love for football.
When did it start?
No, I think that it started even when I was in primary school. You know, in those days, football, kids in football, we play mostly tennis ball. I'm sure you know tennis ball, the small one.
Yes.
That's what we used to play, and then continuing into middle school where real football was started. We were just playing football. I used to play defense, and then we in those days even we had what we call school Accra House of Folks and Accra Great Olympics, and I was playing for House of Folks.
You were playing. So you actually played.
No, what I mean is that at school, at middle school.
At school, okay.
We had this group. One side was for Olympics, one side for Accra House of Folks. And during break time we used to play football at that level, not the real Accra House of Folks. And then in high school, well, I wasn't much interested. My interest dropped. But there were others who continued with it. And then my interest in football got back again when I came back from Europe as a doctor, joined the military, had a military training, was commissioned as an officer. And then my mother unit at that time was 37 Military Hospital, because I was in uniform. I have to be there at the rank of a captain. And then from there, I was moved to 1st Battalion of Infantry at Michel Camp.
As a military officer?
As a military officer, I was attached to a battalion. Every battalion has a hospital. You follow me?
Yes.
All the battalions we have in this country, they all have hospitals, and a dental chair. So you have a doctor and a dentist attached to each battalion. So my first battalion experience I had was at Michel Camp, at Tema. Yes. I don't know if you know that.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah. Then from there, I was moved to 5th Battalion of Infantry at Burma Camp. So 5th Battalion of Infantry, I had to prepare the troops so that we travel to the Middle East. In those days, 1976. So I took the troops to the Middle East in 1976. We went on the Sinai Desert. And the Sinai Desert, when we got in there was a lot of things that we couldn't believe. There were a lot of dead bodies. There were a lot of destroyed tanks, and because it was a fight between the Israelis and the Egyptians. You follow me? We had to cross the Suez Canal before we got there. It was rough. We met a whole lot of dead bodies. And now, by then, there were still mines in the sand,
Landmines.
live mines.
Mm.
And some of our soldiers died very sadly, you know. So, then from there, I came back to, we spent 6 months on the desert, 6 months continuously. That's with the United Nations Peacekeeping Force. Our group was known as Gambat 4.
Gambat 4.
Yeah, Gambat 4. So we came back not quite long ago, I think 2 weeks or so. I got myself involved with other military colleagues planning to overthrow General Champon. So I was arrested.
What year was this?
That was in 1977. Yeah. So we were arrested before the D-Day, and were kept in various cells, and then finally we were thrown into Usher Fort. We were in Usher Fort close to 2 years, and then Achampon was removed, and then we had our freedom.
So his removal is what brought your freedom?
Oh, absolutely. Because when we were there, I don't see Achampon releasing us. No.
So at that point, did you have it in your mind that you were not going to come back?
Oh, no. I knew definitely there would be a change. You see what is even interesting in that? When we were brought in there were few politicians we knew there. A man like J.H. Mensah, you might have heard his name.
Yes, I have, yes.
J.H. Mensah, a very senior politician, was there. Himself and Sheikh Kwe. Now, their case was different. Their case was on sedition. I think they wrote something. And in those days, soldiers don't play with this sort of thing. And that brought them there. But our case was more serious. Ours was subversion,
Okay.
which was a capital offense. You follow me? So we're there when this Unigov idea came, if you remember.
Yes, Unigov.
I even spoke about it today. Unigov, no and yes. And Achampon thought he would maneuver a whole judge, Justice Aban. He was the electoral commissioner.
Yes, I remember.
He thought he could maneuver around, and Aban was, how shall I put him? These are gentlemen at that time, to be on either appeals court or Supreme Court, even a high court, a man with integrity. You see, so when they had the referendum, we were in Usher Fort, and we knew how the people outside were thinking about the referendum. Now, the people voted massively against Achampon's idea of having the union government.
Yeah, yes and no.
You follow me?
Yes.
The yes and no. So the no rather won.
Yes, no one. Yes.
No one. And Achampon called, what do you call him? Justice Aban, and tried to influence, and Aban said, no way. The will of the people must be respected. You follow me? So Achampon planned to have Aban arrested. Aban had information. He has to jump the wall of the electoral commission into safety. Of course, he was helped. Aban was a smallish man, if you have ever met him. And, then, of course, not long after that, Achampon was removed by Akufo.
Yes.
Because Akufo had a feeling, his group had a feeling that, the military is being involved in politics too much. And the military really has nothing to do with civilian rule unless they are invited. You follow me? So that brought the removal of Achampon. And then not quite long after that, it was even a few weeks when we were released, and then Rollins came on the scene.
Now let me ask this though. Coming from a peacekeeping tour, coming back to Ghana and being involved in an attempted overthrow of Achampon, did you always have that political mindset, or what really motivated you to make that decision of even being a part of an attempted overthrow?
Well, it's quite interesting. When we were on the desert, a respectable young officer by name Colonel Roger Felly, you might have heard his name.
Yes.
Felly was then in charge of, he was a commissioner of foreign affairs. So he paid a visit with career diplomats to us on the desert and briefing us, and I think that was in government policy. Briefing us, he made it clear that he would like us to know that government has decided to come out with what they will call union government, involving the military, the police, other services, and the entire. I don't know how they are going to form it. Only God knows. So he came to sell that idea. Okay. First, he spoke with the troops, that's the men. Then afterwards, he came addressed the officers in the mess. Surprisingly, when he finished, he asked any question, nobody spoke. So I remember I got up and said, "Sir, Roger, I have a question." So, go ahead now. Then I told him that I don't think we were commissioned to rule civilians. Then he laughed a bit. He said, "Oh, now things have changed. The world is changing." This is how he put it. Unfortunately, when he went back, and then months later we came, and then I went into detention and all these things. And Rawlings came on the scene. When they rounded up the generals to kill them, they added him to the list.
Yes, Roger Felly, yes.
So Felly was killed.
Yes.
And Felly was killed not because he stole anything, no, or he has misbehaved. He was a gentleman.
I remember at the time he used to live in Juba Villas.
Exactly. He was in Juba Villa.
Yeah.
Felly was killed because at that time they wanted an equalization. Equalization in the sense that if you watch those who died, General Tuka was from the Volta region. Amedume was from the Volta region. Yabuachi was from Ashanti region. Akwesi Afrifa was Ashanti region. Achampon was from Ashanti region. Akufo was from Akwapim here.
Eastern region, yeah.
Now, Kote was a guy from Greater Accra. Now, they realized that there was nothing. Now, whoever raised that question, I don't know. But that is why we have to be careful.
So he was only a victim.
So he became a victim. And what hurt me was that I cautioned him. You follow me? I cautioned him. So he was just a victim. And the strange thing is that I was told reliably that by then he's gone on break in Burkina Faso. And he voluntarily came down himself.
You're watching Lead on Trade TV, exclusively here with Captain Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe on this wonderful, wonderful, effective leadership segment here on our show. Keep watching Trade TV. We will be right back. Welcome back to Lead here. Our topic for today is effective leadership. I'm here with Captain Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe. Before the break, we had a little background of how it all started with him in the military. Of course, we're still continuing this conversation here, and I know there's lots more we have to know, lots we have to learn, lots we have to find out. And of course, this is all about exclusivity, and you are watching Trade TV. Welcome back, sir. So you were talking about him being a victim, and that you said you warned him about it. You spoke to him about it. You cautioned him. Caution is the word you used.
I didn't really warn him.
You cautioned him,
but I brought his attention to a very important point. Felly was a Sandhurst trained military officer, just like General Mensah and others. And these are soldiers who have been trained very well. They are trained to such a level that even when they want to get involved in civilian politics, they don't know what to do. You follow me? You either retire and then you contest. If you win, you win. It happens. Eisenhower was a good example after the war in the U.S. So had been other generals. So my intention that time was to draw. My plan was that time was to draw his attention to that particular thing, you know. But unfortunately, he himself couldn't because he came on an government errand. You follow me? He was asked to come and brief first. The 5 Battalion is a very important battalion in Ghana. And Achembon has handled that battalion before as a commanding officer.
Fast forward, we're in 2024, and there's several issues going on. You hear the news here, economic issues, economic hardships. What do you think has changed over the years?
This one is a very big question. A lot has changed.
Mm.
Firstly, a lot of people had hope in Akufo-Addo, including myself. To the extent that when I was an ambassador, he visited my jurisdiction, and I was with him. We've known each other from
In
outside.
Serbia?
In Serbia.
Mm.
He paid an official visit to Serbia. And as an ambassador, in fact, he came to Sofia, and Sofia is under my jurisdiction.
Mm.
That's Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, Sofia.
So I have to meet him. So I travel all the way from Belgrade to meet him in Sofia. Right at the airport, we were together. I mean, being so close to him, I was with him in his bedroom and we were chatting. And I asked him about political development vis-a-vis our party, you know. And I knew also that we were going to have a congress where we are going to select a leader, a new leader. So I told him point blank that he should get himself ready because soon he'll become the leader of the party.
Mm.
And then there he cut in and said, "No, Nyaho, it seems things should not be as smooth as I thought." You follow me? That's the why. Then he says, Kofi Diewo, he used the word Kofi Diewo, that's Kofo, has brought in a young man. I said, who is that young man? They mentioned Alan Chiramante.
Mm.
I said, well, Alan, a young guy, I've met him, he's quite nice. But I don't think he's up to the task yet.
Mm.
So when he left, I called a very senior member of the party to find out whether it's really true that Kufuor is going to bring in a younger person or somebody different. And Alan, even though when we formed the party, they helped a lot himself and others. They called themselves the young executives in those days.
But do you think that kind of irritated the current president at the time?
You see?
Do you think it irritated? Did he feel bad about it? That His Excellency President Kufuor had brought in a young person?
Oh, definitely. You see that I wasn't comfortable.
Mm.
When he was narrating to me as a friend,
Okay.
you follow me? So when I called when he left, I called Accra and it was confirmed that, well, it was getting close to the election time. So I remember I was not happy because I said, we used to have a tradition, and why has the tradition shifted so quickly? Because as far as I'm concerned, Akufo-Addo should have been the next online.
Mm.
You follow me? So I remember one Friday I came down. I took a plane and came down. And I came down here in the evening. And then I got to know that Saturday and Sunday, it was a weekend, that Saturday and Sunday, they were then holding the Congress. But I decided not to go there. I think they did that at Legon at the Great Hall. I decided not to go there. So I stayed home. Then I heard that he couldn't make the 50.1 plus one. And that Chairman gave him quite a a difficult contest,
Mm.
you know. So I wasn't very happy. As I arrived, and then Saturday I called